I'm so glad I get to join you virtually. This is a new experience for all of us, but we get to keep your learning going, and you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Give yourselves a 10-finger woo! Woo! All right, so we're going to start with lesson 21. This is our introduction. You guys have this in your packet. We're going to connect words and pictures or illustrations. So your learning target, this is our objective for learning for this lesson. We're going to use information from the pictures and words in a story to help you better understand the characters, the setting, and the plot. So we're going to... Stop making him do that. Okay, little puppy break, okay, class? So here's Chubbs. He's playing with Ernie. And then Princey. Here's Princey. Princey! And then here's Princey. Say hi, Princey. Alright, so our cute little dog break. Okay, now we'll go back to it. Words and pictures, we're right here, or illustrations work together to help you better understand what happens in a story. They can give you details about the setting or where the story takes place. Words and pictures help you know what the characters are like. They also help you understand the plot or what is happening in the story. And Ernie is just running by you guys. I know you guys all like to see him, so I tried to get him, but he ran by. So we're going to read the sentences and look at the illustrations. What do the pictures tell you that the words do not? So we really want to look at these illustrations, and we want to look at the setting. Where are they? We want to look at the characters' faces. How are they feeling? And we want to read the words, and we're going to use those pictures, and we're going to connect the words with the illustrations. So, I don't want to go on the roller coaster, said Allison. Oh, come on, said her mom. It'll be fun. Looking at her face, they may not agree with that, so you can tell why they don't want to go. The next one, we're looking at the illustration. As it turned out, her mom was right, sort of. So we see their faces, and now who's having fun on the roller coaster? So we're going to analyze that. So we have our graphic organizer right here on page 353 that you guys are going to use to fill out. Remember, anytime you need to pause or slow down, you guys can pause this video and then start it up again. So you can really go at your own pace. So with our chart right here, it's labeled what the sentences tell and what the pictures show. So we look at picture 1, and it says, Allison doesn't want to go on the ride. That's what our sentence is telling us. Well, they want us to look at the picture and tell, what does the picture show? Well, if we look at picture 1, and so I'll reread the sentence for you. I don't want to go on the roller coaster, said Allison. Well, that's what she's saying, and that's what it's telling us, but what is the picture showing us? So if we look at the picture and we look at Allison's face, she looks terrified. She's so frightened. She doesn't want to go. So that's what the picture is showing us. So here is where you guys would fill this out. You're going to tell me, what is the picture showing you? So take her facial expressions, how she's frightened, how she's scared, and we're going to put that into a sentence here. So then you can pause, you guys can fill this in, and we're going to go to the next one. On picture 2, illustration 2. Allison's mom was partly right. Okay, so if she's partly right, let's look at the illustration. Well, on this one, her mom said, it'll be fun. And it says, well, her mom was partly right. Well, she's partly right because who's having fun? Allison is having fun, but it looks like her parents are not having a fun time. So she was partly right, but Allison's the one that's having more fun. So we're going to put our response here in this next box, right here. So you can pause and you can fill that in. And a complete sentence, remember our complete sentences, uppercase letters at the beginning, finger spaces between words, and ending punctuation. Great job, you guys. So remember, we would do now like 10-finger woo, give me a 10-finger woo, woo! guys are doing great. And we would talk about this normally in groups, but we're going to discuss, and you kind of discuss with a family member or just kind of think about it. But think about the pictures again. How do the words and pictures work together to help you understand what happens? So how is there a connection between the sentences and the pictures or the illustrations? And so think about that. How is the illustration helping you understand what the sentence is saying? And with our academic talk, we have our illustrations, the pictures in the stories, our characters, people or animals in the story, our setting, where's the story taking place, and our plot. What's happening in this story? So what's a problem? What's a solution? What's going on in the story? What are the major events happening? So now that we have completed our introduction, so we have this completed, we read this. You have your chart completed, great job. And then we're going to move on to our story called Mr. March and the Moose. This is this is kind of a silly story. Our genre is fantasy. So this is a story that couldn't really happen. Remember, when we talk about our genre, we have fiction, nonfiction, we have folk tales. This genre is fantasy, so it's a story that couldn't really happen. So let's get ready to read our story together. I'm going to be reading it out loud, and you guys are going to read chorally with me. So make sure that you are using your tracking finger. His little chubs, Ernie's kind of messing with him, but he's fine. So, our little doggy right, woo! And then there's Princey too. Princey's sleeping. Princey. You can see he's sleeping. He's snoozing. He's kind of an old man, so he sleeps a lot right now. But, all right. So we have Mr. March and the Moose. Make sure you're doing your finger tracking. Paragraph 1. Okay, Mr. March could not find his glasses anywhere. He had searched his whole house, and he'd even poked around his backyard when he came inside. He hung his hat and coat on the coat rack. So let's stop, and we're going to, remember, ask and answer questions when we're reading. So who's our main character right now? Let's think about this. Who's the main character? Yes. Okay, so Mr. March. Remember, you can always get a highlighter as well, and you can highlight your key details, your key information. So we would highlight Mr. March. He's our main character. And what is his problem? Well, his problem is he can't find his glasses anywhere. So, and then what did he have to do? Well, if we go back to the text, we know he's already searched his whole house. He even poked around in his backyard. And when he came inside, he hung his hat and coat on the coat rack. Let's look at the illustration, because that illustration is going to help us better understand the text. So when we're looking at our illustration, where did he hang his hat and his coat? Not on the coat rack, right? Okay, so let's go to paragraph 2. Make sure you're tracking and reading along with me. Where could those glasses be? He muttered. I can't see 3 feet without them. And I was so hoping to spot that moose everyone has been talking about. Stop, ask and answer questions. So now, what is his problem still? He's still looking for his glasses. So, and he can't see how far in front of him? He can't see 3 feet in front of him. So, and he was hoping to spot a moose. Well, if we look at this illustration, these things are already happening. They're kind of going on. So this is kind of silly because he can't see it. Go to paragraph 3. Excuse me, sir, a shy voice said. I believe your glasses are in your shirt pocket. Let's look at his shirt pocket in picture 1. So if we look at his shirt pocket, and what is there? So our illustration is helping us understand the words. Paragraph 4. Mr. March jumped. Who had said that? But he reached in his pocket, and there were his glasses. When he put them on, he realized he had not hung his hat and coat on the coat rack after all. But as we were reading this text and we were looking at the illustrations, we already knew what was happening because the pictures were connecting with the words. So we knew what was going on the whole time. So if we have remember our close reader habits, we are circling or we're highlighting our key details in the pictures that aren't in the sentences. Okay? So now we go to our next page. So you guys are going to be on page 355. And we're going to use our graphic organizer on this one to go with Mr. March and the Moose. And we're going to explore, how do the words and pictures work together to help make Mr. March and the Moose a funny story? Let's think about that. Look again at the pictures and words. Finish the chart to show what each adds to the story. And remember, we can always use our little clues over here too. It says, I need to look at each picture, read the words, and then look at each picture again. So always go back, look again, double check, kind of explore, investigate what's really going on here. So what the sentences tell. In picture 1, remember we can go back to the story, back to that picture in picture 1 in the story. Mr. March can't find his glasses. Oh, but what does the picture show us? Well, we talked about that and we know that we've seen his glasses are in his pocket the whole time, and that's why he can't find them. So that's what our picture shows. So that's what we're going to write right here. Our picture shows that Mr. March had placed his glasses in his pocket. So you can pause, you can write your sentence and fill it in. Okay, now we're going to go to the next one, picture 2. Someone tells Mr. March where his glasses are. Who was that told Mr. March where his glasses were? Well, if we go back to the text and we go back to picture number 2, who's in the story and who is talking to Mr. March? It's the moose. So we know we would use our graphic organizer, our chart right here, and who is telling Mr. March where his glasses are? Remember, we would use a complete sentence with our uppercase letters, finger spacing, and ending punctuation to talk about how the moose was the one telling Mr. March where his glasses were. And then you can pause it and fill in your graphic organizer, and then we're going to move on. So we're going to talk about it. And we're here at number 2. Mr. March says he's hoping to see a moose. How does picture 1 help make this line from the story funny? He's hoping to see a moose, and in picture 1, look who's right there. There's a moose right behind him, but remember, because he lost his glasses, he can't see 3 feet away. He doesn't know the moose is right there. So how does this kind of make it funny from the story? And then we have a short response that you are going to be completing. And so I'm going to read you the question. What does Mr. March find out once he puts his glasses on? Well, remember, once he puts his glasses on, who does he see? And he's so surprised that there it is. There's a moose right there that he'd been hoping to see the whole time. And remember, it's fantasy, so the moose is talking to him, telling him where to find his glasses. So I'll reread that. What does Mr. March find out once he puts his glasses on? That's what we just talked about. How do the words and pictures help you understand this? So we talk about how the words and the pictures are connected with that. And last, you guys are going to write your response in the space on page 358. So you're going to go to page 358 in your packet, and here is the place where you are going to write your response. This is what we would normally do in class. So remember, we're trying to write a complete paragraph. We're trying to use multiple sentences in a complete thought, and you have sentence fluency. So your sentences are flowing, and you are creating a complete paragraph for your response. So the first thing, remember, you're going to do, what does Mr. March find out once he puts his glasses on? So you're going to restate the question. once Mr. March puts his glasses on, he finds out that, what does he find out? I want you to tell me that in the sentence. And for your next question, how do the words and pictures help you understand this? So how, you go back to the story, how did the text and the pictures help you understand this? So a hint here that they also tell you, where did Mr. March hang his hat and coat? So we know once he put his glasses on, he's seen Mr. Moose, but how did the words and pictures help you understand that? So use these pictures and tell me, how does this picture help you understand that it was the moose that helped him find his glasses? Okay, so you're going to go ahead and answer that in complete sentences, writing a paragraph telling me what happened, what does Mr. March find out once he puts his glasses on? All right, and that's our first virtual lesson. You guys did amazing. Give me a 10-finger woo! Woo! You guys are all amazing. And there's another thing that I know you guys might be a little concerned about, is your super improver wall, because you guys have worked so hard the whole year. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sending out an email that's going to be talking to your parents and to you about how you can do things at home and you can earn points that will apply towards the super improver wall so that you can continue moving up and so that you can all reach that living legend, hopefully. And I know you guys can all do that, but we're going to continue working really hard, and we're going to continue working together. Even though you're not at school, we're still going to keep your learning going, because you guys are amazing, you guys are awesome, and I really appreciate all your hard work. Okay, so I'll see you guys for your next lesson. All right, awesome.